I'm ready.
Hi, everybody. This is Joe from PrepAgent. I'm here with my friend Lisa Medley. She's from Dustin, Florida, which is in the Northwest Florida, in the Northwest Panhandle of Florida, which is a beautiful vacation area. I'm going to check it out. Maybe I'll even buy a house there myself from Lisa if I get so lucky. And you guys will be able to check it out. You'll see her information in the show notes below if you want to connect with her and see more about that area. With that being said, Lisa, why don't you take it away?
All right. Well, I used to be a realtor in a different state in Oklahoma about a decade or so ago. And I thought that I could pass this test without any issues. I wasn't going to have any problems. And I was very naive in my thinking, and I completely underestimated this test. So my suggestion is to not only know your vocabulary, don't try to memorize the definitions. That's not going to work for you. It doesn't work. You have to know what you're talking about and be able to have an intelligent conversation about the vocabulary. And that's just the starting point. Then I went on and actually, because I failed my first test, I'll just put it out there. I failed it the first time because, like I said, I underestimated it. I started YouTubing, because that's what we do, right? We YouTube and Google what we don't know. And I came across the PrepAgent videos. And then they started coming across my Facebook feed, PrepAgent did. And so I looked into it. It looked like something I wanted to be a part of. So I subscribed and bought the package and did the prep tests. And that's what prepared me for my Florida real estate exam. If I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have passed. That's the honest truth.
And I love what you said about the vocabulary, because as you know, I say learn your vocabulary a lot, but I also say that if you know your vocabulary, you aren't guaranteed to pass, but if you don't know it, you're guaranteed to fail, because I emphasize the vocabulary a lot, but I don't want people to misunderstand. I'm not saying that's the end point. I'm saying it's your starting point. You got to nail down the vocabulary, but then you got to follow it up with the stuff as you just said,
Yes. Yeah, have an intelligent conversation about real estate with your spouse, your significant other, your brother, your sister, whoever will listen to you, or your dog or your cat. Be able to talk about what it is that you're testing over. And if you can have a good conversation and know what you're talking about, you have a better chance of passing. This is another thing I did. When I was out and about in public, I would have my flashcards with me, and I would look for easements, encroachments, building codes. It makes it more memorable if you put it into, a visual, content, in your head. For me anyway, that's how I learn.
I love that you're sharing this, because one of the reasons I love doing these interviews with people such as yourself is you see different things work for different people. It's not all a boilerplate thing. And you clearly seem like one of those people who does very well when you put it in real context, like however you can, whether it's in a conversation, like you said, with friends or family, or be able to see it. And, sometimes it can be difficult. You can't go to your brother and be like, so is that in a state for years, or is that a state of sufferance? They'd be like, what, did you go out drinking last night? What are you talking about? But you do a really good job of trying to see where it applies and just put it all in context, so it all kind of makes sense. So it's not basically Greek. I assume you don't speak Greek.
Yes. No.
Okay, good. So you get the analogy.
Yes, that's absolutely it. Visual person.
Right. And I loved how you were actually walking in your community trying to see where this applies. Sounds like you really put in that extra effort to kind of put everything you're there in real life context. You almost said to yourself, this has got to fit somewhere in my life. I got to figure it out. This has to apply to something,
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. And it does. You just have to look around and look for it.
Yeah, I guess sometimes you got to look a little harder, but these words are not just random words people put. It seems like people put in random words just to annoy you, but they actually do have some relevance to something if you could find it.
Yes. And like you say, I think you say it a couple times in your videos, like nobody wants to study this stuff. It's not interesting. It's not fun. It's kind of boring, but we have to learn it. It's going to be part of our everyday lives as real estate agents, and just put in the work, get it done, and go pass the test.
And what's really great with what you did, and the way you're doing, it's going to take more effort, because you got to get out there and really learn the stuff. But you actually know it. So when you practice real estate, you're going to be able to put a lot more things into context than somebody you pass just by memorizing stuff, regurgitating it, and being on their way. You know, because that tactic works for some people. It wouldn't work for you or I, because I'm more like you. But some people that works for. But the problem for that person is 4 months later it comes up in real estate and they'll act like they've never heard the word before in their life. They're starting from scratch.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So your method definitely takes a lot more effort, but you know, it creates a great foundation for your career in the future after you pass. So it's super good. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, that was it. I just want to say thank you. It's great to meet you in person. I studied for this test, honestly, for a full year before I was brave enough to go back and take it a second time. So thank you.
Well, I'm sure you know it very well. Well, thank you so much.
I do.
Let's just remind everybody that we can find your information in the show notes below. And it's Lisa Medley from Dustin, Florida, in the Northwest Panhandle. And it's a beautiful area if you ever want to go on vacation. Do you do rentals as well?
I actually currently work for a rental company. Yes, there's rentals everywhere. Absentee owners is a big deal here.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I said that area right, because it sounds like it's a great place to go.
Yes, it is. Thanks.
So with that being said, this is Joe from PrepAgent, Lisa Medley. Bye.